The show, please welcome to the stage from the New Jersey Institute of Technology's Federated Department of History, Dr. Lisa Gill.
Yeah! That's awesome.
Hello all, and welcome to day one of the Apollo's Open House Weekend. Today's theme, Still We Rise, is a call to celebrate and remember the wonderful ways Black people and Black culture continue to be the inspiration for movements, nations, and a way of being in the world. Throughout our time in this part of the world, we've created spaces that nurtured our soul and provided environments to explore and develop our talents. Today, we look at some of those themes with an exploration of creativity, comedy, activism, spirituality, and diasporic memory, highlighting the majesty of our experiences and the ways we continue to excel. I hope that by the end of the program, you have an appreciation for the greatness of who we are, where we have been, and the many ways we've managed to create open spaces, especially when confronted with resistance. And with that, it is my distinct pleasure to bring to the stage someone else who has a deep appreciation for African American history. He's the Apollo's historian. He gives incredible tours of this theater and knows so much about the place he's called Mr. Apollo. Harlem, please welcome Billy Mitchell.
Yeah!
Good afternoon, family. Welcome to the world famous Apollo. And thank you, Dr. Gill. That's a doctor there. Give it up for Dr. Gill.
Yeah!
And thank you, DJ Simon Redner. Give it up for my brother.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. Look,
WBGO in the house.
absolutely. And thank you, audience. Thank you all for being here because, it's cold outside, and you could have stayed home. You could have stayed home and said, I'm not going to deal with that. It's cold. I don't think I'll go to Apollo. But, and we really appreciate that you're here. We appreciate that big time. And we're going to make it worth your while. I promise you that. I promise you that. By applause. How many of you are coming here for the very first time? Okay. By applause. How many of you have been here before? So for those who have been here before, and those who are coming here for the first time, everybody raise your hand. Now that you're here, you are now officially a part of the Apollo Theater family. Welcome.
Yeah!
Welcome. Yeah. So, whether it's the first time or your 15th time, welcome home to day one of our open house weekend. As Professor Gill mentioned, I'm the Apollo historian, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the Apollo Theater. We've been known as the Apollo Theater for 84 years. That's something, right? 84 years. Come on, 84 years.
84 years, wow.
And in this day and age, to last 84 years, that's truly an accomplishment. Now, I don't have time to give you all 84 years of history right now, but here's what I can tell you in a couple minutes, right? First of all, this building was built in 1914. Just to give you a little background. The building was built in 1914, but when the building was first built, it wasn't called the Apollo Theater, as we all know it right now. The building had another name and another purpose. The building was originally called Hurtig and Siemens New Burlesque Theater. This was a burlesque house. It was a segregated burlesque house. In other words, African Americans weren't allowed to come inside this theater. Then in the late 1920s, burlesque had started becoming out of control, becoming very vulgar, becoming risque, and it was promoting immoral behavior. And the citizens of New York started complaining about it, and they elected this mayor to tackle that problem, and that's when Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia was elected, and he took action immediately against burlesque houses. He knew they needed a license in order to operate, and he would not renew the licenses, and all burlesque theaters in the entire city of New York were shut down all at once, including this building, which was then known as Hurtig and Siemens New Burlesque Theater. Shut down in 1932, right? 2 years later, 1934, at the very end of a wonderful era called the Harlem Renaissance, that new owners came in here and took over this building, right? Because during the Harlem Renaissance, our culture was brought to Harlem, our music, our dance, our fashion, our intellect, our poetry, and people wanted to see black entertainers. So when this new owners bought this building in 1934 and named it the Apollo Theater, after the Greek god Apollo, that's when they started presenting what they called color reviews, shows featuring black people. And that was on January 26, 1934, and we've been here ever since then. Give it up for the Apollo Theater.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing, Todd?
An incredible day.
Right,
I'm just so grateful to be here. You guys have no idea. This theater's seen a lot, and so have our people. In 84 years, we've seen the heights of a black president, and we've seen the depths of brutalization. It's a shameful thing to humanize people, right? That's why most cowards, and I do mean cowards, commit their violence in the dark. It's why many of the oppressive acts against our people were done with men covered in hoods and sheets. And that's why activists like Fannie Lou Hamer understood that the light was great shield against those that feared exposure. All right? Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Ida B. Wells understood that disgraces documented by the American media could benefit our movement. That's why we need the media big time. The next person taken on stage understands the power of the media. He's an award-winning award-winning reporter who has moderated forums on poverty and mass incarceration forums across platforms like Newark Today, great show, on WBGO FM and Channel 13 WNET. Audience, from NJTV, please give it up for my co-host, my brother, Mr. Michael Hill.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. Hello to the Apollo Theater and all of you. I've been a lot of places in my life, but I've never been on the Apollo stage. In fact, I've never been to the Apollo Theater. I've passed them a lot of times, but I've never been in here before. Oh, so we got that kind of audience, huh? Right? See? I can tell you right now, I'm ready for you. Maybe I never had an
Very
invitation.
funny, Blake, already.
I got one now, that's right. It's a dream come true when you consider the people who have graced this stage, who have performed here, and who, before they became famous, they may have been yanked off this stage. I want to get down to business because we have a lot. Yeah, some of you probably have been out in the audience and booed some of those folks off the stage. Get down to business right now before C.P. Lacey comes out here, dances out here, and does what C.P. Lacey does, which is yank folks off the stage. As Billy mentioned, I'm a journalist. That means I tell stories for a living. Not fictional stories, and certainly not fake news. I tell the stories that are real, the stories that are happening, and the stories about real people and what matters to them. Stories are important to all of us, and virtually all cultures have an oral tradition. But an oral tradition became extra important to African Americans because for centuries in these United States of America, we were actually forbidden, flogged, whipped, maimed, even killed, if we received a formal education in much of this country. Then men we had rely on learning through the spoken word. You're about to see how the tradition and power of spoken word continues to resonate with all of us today. Please welcome to the stage Deputy Director of Urban Word NYC, the lovely Sofia Snow.
Yeah, that's right. Excited, Malaysia?
When I say urban, y'all say word. Urban.
Word. Word.
Say urban, y'all say word.
Word.
Urban.
Word.
Hello, Apollo Theater. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Hello, my name is Sofia Snow. I am the deputy director of my projection is up here today. Well, can y'all hear me? It seemed like it could. Thank you. Oh, you can hear everything. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Thank you, ma'am. Hello, hello. It's a little better. Okay, I don't gotta project into this, so I'll be a little more reserved. My name is Sofia Snow, and I am the deputy director of an incredible nonprofit based in Flatiron called Urban Word NYC. We are 19 years old, but we've been doing a citywide teen poetry slam. This is our 20th annual year of that. We provide free workshops, free weekly open mics, and every March we do a citywide slam with poetry competitions all over the city. Last year we had over 100 youth MCs and poets perform. We believe in the power of youth voice, and we believe that they deserve platforms just like this very stage to share it, to be heard. And every year our Grand Slam finals are right here at the Apollo. So, if you would like to get tickets for that, please meet us in the booth. We're right in the back of this very theater. But really, to give you a taste of what we do, I would love to bring up to the stage one of our Youth Poet Laureate of New York City ambassadors. She is a freshman in college. She is coming to you all the way from the Bronx. Could you please make some noise for Shaqima Brisma?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
How y'all
big one.
doing today?
Good.
Right. So I just wanted to kick this off first with thanks to Urban Word. Thank you to Apollo Theater for letting me grace the stage. And thank you for all to you for coming out and hearing what we got to say. So I have a poem, two poems for you guys. One I think you will recognize, and if you know the words, please say along with me. I will be speaking Still I Rise by Dr. Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room, just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Yeah!
Glad y'all enjoyed that one. All right, so this is an original piece I wrote a few years ago. It was just basically me coming to terms with my blackness and being accepting of who I am and encouraging others to accept who they are, despite all the type of criticisms and all types of people trying to keep us down simply because of skin color. It's called Nappy. I crave smooth silken hairs that trickle past my shoulders like a stream. I hunger to ease a comb through it without yanking out knots, but why? Did I want to improve myself or be more like the pretty ones, light skin, red bones, who never felt the sizzling sting of product burning their scalps, getting tight kinks bone straight? When the infamous question arose, what are you? Sometimes I would be Jamaican mixed with A, B, and C, or a dark-skinned Dominican that didn't speak Spanish, anything except for the color of the sky on a starless night. A wise man once said, I think, therefore I am. So I thought about having a fairer complexion and a Rapunzel mane. I was surrounded by pressures that made me play pretend, black and beautiful. There was no such thing in my adolescent mind, but over time I found out the awe of the dark. After all, stars can only shine at night. They are held up by the universe's black cloak that keeps everything together. So many leaders, poets, revolutionaries are of my hair and skin. From the thoughtful words of Audrey, to the sweet melodies of Billy, to the boldness of Nina, to the strength of my mother, and the passion of myself. I now know black is beautiful, black is bold, black is fiery, black is sweet, black is sultry. And I am happy to be happy. Thank you.
That was incredible. Give it up for that sister.
Yeah!
Wow. Get chilled sometimes, you know. Sometimes people say the right things just makes you feel good. It puts chills through your body and whatnot, lifts your spirit. Now, why do we celebrate Black History Month? We'll be talking about Malcolm X later today. Malcolm said, of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. But you want to know something, family? You can't learn history if you sugarcoat it. You learn history if only you can't learn about history if you only talk about the good. You know, you really can't. Sometimes you have to get real. Am I right? You got to get real. You got to tell the truth. You can't tell his story and the truth are two different things. All right? So here's some real talk that doesn't make us comfortable. I'm going to share some stuff that doesn't make us comfortable. There was a time when many of us were ashamed of our African roots. Right? After centuries of slavery, oppression, and brainwashing, some of us got convinced that being African was negative. In fact, you could start a fight with some people if you called them black or African back in the day. That's real. It's nice to see. But over time, with the efforts of people like Marcus Garvey and Malcolm and others, many of us rejected that notion and reconnected with the traditions of the motherland. That's why the LaRock Bay School of Dance Theater was established in 1960.
Yeah!
It is the nation's oldest African dance school. They have taught over 15,000 students. Many who have appeared on Broadway, TV, movie productions, and then also right here on the stage. I used to come here back in the 60s and 70s and watch the Rock Bay dancers. We're proud to welcome back home to the Apollo the ancestral movement of the Rock Bay Dance Theater. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome their artistic director, La Rock Bay's nephew, my brother, Jerome Hunter.
Yeah!
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That was kind of weak. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the family at the Apollo Theater Black History Celebration. Are you having fun so far?
Yes.
How's that possible? We didn't do nothing yet. La Rock Bay School of Dance Theater have been in the Harlem community since 1960.
It's funny.
La Rock Bay was my uncle. He came here from Detroit, Michigan, back in 1958. At Judd Hall, downtown on 44th Street, he created a song, Funga Alafia, Ashe Ashe. My name is Brother Jerome Hunter. I teach discipline through dance. I'm a certified group fitness instructor, as well as I work in several schools and different, Princeton University. I teach discipline through dance. I train people to be professionals. I work with Beyonce's dancers and a bunch of other folks. We are located at 102 West 116th Street in the Malcolm Shabazz Cultural Center, 116th Atlantic Avenue. If you are interested in yourself, your children or your teenagers, or your grandchildren, we are available every Saturday from 10 to 3. If anyone was around in the 60s, a few of you I see you were around. La Rock Bay was also at the Audubon Ballroom when the brother Malcolm X was assassinated, so he has a deep-rooted history in the Harlem community. And I can go on and on, but I'm not going to. But I hope you all enjoy the show. Thank you. Peace. God bless.